Welcome to today's Roundtable webcast, brought to you by Actian, Trifacta, and SnapLogic. I'm Stephen Fagg, Director at Database Trends and Applications in Unisphere Research. I will be your host for today's broadcast. Our presentation today is titled Overcoming Data Integration and Governance Challenges. Before we begin, I want to explain how you can be a part of this broadcast. There will be a question and answer session. If you have a question during the presentation, just type it into the question box provided and click on the Submit button. We'll try to get to as many questions as possible, but if your question has not been selected during the show, you will receive an email response. Plus, all viewers today will be entered to win a $100 American Express gift card. Now, to introduce our speakers for today, Pradeep Banat, Director of Product Marketing at Actian, Will Davis, Senior Director of Product Marketing at Trifacta, and Dibby Malakar, Vice President of Product Management at SnapLogic. For more information on our speakers today, you can click on the arrows under their headshots. Now I'm going to pass the event over to Pradeep.
Thank you, Stephen. My name is Pradeep Banat. I'm the Director of Product Marketing here at Actian, and today I want to talk about the data integration for our Actian Avalanche Cloud Data Warehouse service and some of the governance and integration challenges that overcomes. For those of you who aren't familiar with Actian, we've been around for just over a decade, but we have acquired technologies over the years that have enabled many enterprises to be very successful with data management, and some of those developers have been with their products for more than 3 decades. So we have a lot of mature technology that we've evolved over the years, and we've gained over 10,000 customers. We have multinational support, and we're proud to be holders of more than 20 patents and the owners of technology that provides the world's fastest database technology. In terms of businesses we're in, we have 3 primary technology areas. One is data management, which is your traditional OLTP databases, as well as a hybrid database called Actian X. That's an OLTP row-based relational database with a high-speed analytics engine that's columnar-based in one database. Actian Zen provides the ideal database for small footprints, IoT kind of use cases. We have a object database which we acquired from Pervasive, which is ideal for NoSQL access. In terms of data integration, our core solution is a product called Data Connect. Data Connect is powerful enough to scale to the needs of organizations such as ADP and all their consumers. But what I'm going to focus on today is Actian Avalanche, which is my area, and that's a database that's suited to data analytics. So why do we need a new generation of cloud data warehouses? Traditional data warehouses do have some challenges that customers face. Some of the technology providers have encouraged customers over the years to consolidate on a single enterprise data warehouse, which has worked to some extent. But in general, most companies' data has become siloed over the years. So they'll have an EDW, but they'll also have distributed databases by business unit or by use case. For example, they may be gathering IoT data at the edge from their sensors, or they need a data mart for a particular business function. So siloed data is a matter of fact, and that can be siloed by organization or by location or by platform even. Some of it can be in a data lake in the cloud, and some of it might be on-premise. A lot of the data warehouses today face performance challenges. When they were first built, they weren't expecting the internet to take off, and weren't expecting the volumes of data or the numbers of concurrent users that today's data warehouses have to address. And unless the vendors were able to enhance the technology enough, some of those older technologies have kind of fallen behind. And the most common challenge of traditional technologies is they're just based on the wrong pricing model. Perpetual licenses for on-premise products is becoming old-fashioned, and everyone is investing in more flexible pricing models which are based on usage. And the cloud services that provide those have become the norm. And so people want to use their operational budgets instead of their upfront capex kind of budgets to pay for services they consume in IT. So along comes Actian Avalanche, which is our operational cloud data warehouse. It's a third generation cloud data warehouse. The first generation was typified by products like Redshift from Amazon, which is a good technology, but it has a lot of components to it, and people really have to manage that system. So it didn't take away the need for the consumers to become system integrators to do their own data integration work. So it's not as transparent as it could be, and it has a drawback of having to be on all the time, which isn't the ideal for a lot of corporations' use cases. The second generation of cloud data warehouses became more managed services like Snowflake, and they've taken away a lot of that system integration work, but they still lack some of the pre-integrated technology that people need. And this webinar is all about data integration, and having one vendor to provide the data integration and the database technology can be useful. So that's what we've delivered with Avalanche. And finally, the pay-as-you-go model. With FlexPath in Avalanche, we give you the ability to turn off the compute when you're not using it. So if you have a use case where your organization only needs online analytics for 12 hours a day just during the work week, we can basically accommodate that and save you a lot of money compared to alternatives which make you keep the service on 24/7 and you have to pay for it. In terms of getting started with Avalanche, it's a web service, so you just need a web browser. You can sign up for the service. You can create a cluster, and the cluster can be, you just basically define which IP addresses can access the service, how much resource you need, what size database you need to have created, and we'll set up the cluster, which can be available to run in as little as 20 minutes. The next is the long part of the process, which is loading your data, and I'll be talking about the various technologies and ways we have to load your data. It can load very fast if it's highly parallelized, and this is a clustered environment, so you can take advantage of parallelism. And then you can be productive accessing the data from your favorite BI or business analysis tools. Okay, so in terms of data integration, we basically have a built-in pre-integrated solutions for most of the most popular applications on the planet. Most customers want to connect applications such as Salesforce.com, ServiceNow, NetSuite, and that we basically do that for you. With our Data Connect technology, we have integrations that will function across. We've already basically pre-integrated hundreds of other data sources, and most of the world's popular applications like SAP and Oracle ERP systems. If you do have a homegrown system, we have a universal connect technology which can make it very easy to build connectors for those. The cool thing about we also work with partners like HVR to do high-speed parallel data integration. if you don't want to use our built-in technologies. One of the coolest things I think in Avalanche is the ability to take advantage of the Spark APIs. So Avalanche supports Spark data types, which is like 50 different kinds of data formats that we support, which are mapped to those data types. At the bottom of the slide, you can see an example of the ability to create an external table in the database. You basically define an external table which could be mapped via a wildcard to thousands of .csv files, which may be organized by date range. And then you can, when you're ready, you can populate a native table inside Avalanche by doing a select star into that table from the external table. And if you use a predicate like a filter, say you only want a certain date range, and that predicate will get pushed into the external data source, so we'll only bring that subset of the data back into Avalanche. So that integration I think is really cool, and again it'll be done in a highly parallelized fashion to operate as fast as possible. Before I talk up to this slide, I can talk to this slide. Just to share a couple of use cases on data integration. One is Expandium. They're a dashboard provider to network operators like railway companies and telcos. They have one customer example, which is a large telco in France. They have 20 million subscribers and doing something like 5 billion transactions per day. And they need to maintain a real-time dashboard showing the operational performance of their network. And that network, Expandium takes care of displaying on the dashboard trouble spots they might have. And the database behind it, which are provided by Actian, lets them use unaggregated raw information for every single call. So they can basically ingest something like 5 billion transactions per day in real time in micro batches, once every 30 seconds or so. And they can drill down to individual drop calls. No other database technology allows you to do that. A second use case is Hanover Re, a big global customer for us of Data Connect. They love Data Connect because centrally they're able to have IT manage the core data integration code, and they have a highly diverse set of regional offices, 40 of which all like to handle their customer data their way. And they're able to do that, basically capture the raw data as they wish and slowly refine it using delegated administration for how they handle that data. And the end result is the data eventually flows back to the central office, where the company is able to grab insights about how different industries trends by industry, which makes their sales force in turn a lot more productive, a lot more competitive, because they're able to basically share with prospects, hey, other players in your industry have this kind of profile, and that's how we can model you. So that's just a couple of use cases of integration. And in terms of the general product, Avalanche is designed to be really fast for data ingestion, being 5 to 30 times faster than most traditional technologies. Once the data is in the product, it runs 10 to 1,000 times faster than most of the competitors, even on cloud databases. It's a columnar technology, so there's no indexing required, no cubes, etc. It's pretty much self-maintaining, self-tuning. Makes it cheaper to run as well. And then on the right-hand side, pretty much any technology used to consume that data, including ML and AI, can be accommodated. The other low-level feature I think is worth highlighting is a thing called a PDT, which is a positional delta tree, which is just a fancy term to say we can handle singleton updates to the data, as I mentioned with Expandium, in real time all day with almost no performance overhead. So it's like a 2-millisecond performance penalty to pay because we do all the data management in cache often inside the CPU. So you basically don't see a performance hit for updates. And the end result for your consumers is that they see fresh data. So if any organization wants fresh data, they need this capability to handle fast updates. And you just can't do that kind of thing on a Hadoop system, for example. And other ways to get data out, we work with products like Attunity and H3R I mentioned, as well as Data Connect to pull data out of the database. We have native connectivity to S3, and all the BI tools like Looker, Cognos, etc. use pretty much standard APIs like JDBC and ODBC. And we basically give them the ability to have fast, more responsive dashboards. So in getting towards the summary, cloud data warehouses promise all these things like ease of use, easy deployment, scalability to petabytes rather, and ability to support thousands of concurrent users without spawning additional clusters. You pay for what you use, and when you're not using it, you can turn off the service. And in terms of data integration, it's all about pre-integrating access to all the data you need to put inside your data analytics, and we give you the ability to place your data analytics wherever your data is. So whether that be in the cloud, on-premise, etc., we can basically put an analytics engine right next to it. With that, I'll just close by saying if you'd like to learn more about Avalanche, please visit www.actian.com/avalanche, and you can check it out for yourselves. With that, I'll hand back to you. Yep.
Okay, at this point in time, we're going to move on to our next speaker today, Will Davis, Senior Director of Product Marketing at Trifacta.
Thanks. Excited to speak with everyone today about Trifacta's views on overcoming data integration and governance challenges, specifically focusing on cloud environments, similar to the Actian speaker. So if you've been following the data analytics market recently, you've noticed quite a lot of action in terms of M&A in the market. So Looker was acquired by Google for $2.6 billion around there, and then Salesforce a few days later went ahead and acquired Tableau for close to $16 billion. So if you're following this market, you're probably like, what are the signals that $20 billion in 1 week are sending to the market? And at Trifacta, we really view this as a number of different things that are happening in terms of shifts in the data management and analytics industry that are fundamental. So one shift is happening is that the power shift is moving from traditionally IT-led processes to more business-led processes. So if you look at the changes that have happened in BI and analytics, with Tableau and Click transitioning to running BI versus the Cognoses of the world, that has been a shift that's representative of this, and we're seeing this across all of the aspects of data management. If you look at the data shift in terms of the data that organizations are analyzing has moved from simply just transactions to a broad diversity of data, from interactions, behaviors, third-party data. There's just more data available to organizations that they can drive value from, more diversity of data. There's also this platform shift. So on-prem environments, as we talked about just before me, are transitioning to the cloud, and organizations are trying to figure out how do we manage hybrid, multi-cloud centric data management environments. And then the process is shifting from, typically top-down, executive-driven processes to more iterative, collaborative, where end users, business stakeholders are, able to be self-service, understand how they can use different data, different analytics environments to drive value, and then sharing that to the broader organization for value. So with these changes, you're seeing the rise of data lakes, cloud data warehouses, but there are some fundamental struggles around generating value, generating adoption of these environments. And the biggest challenge that we see in the market is around data preparation. So on this slide, we have a quote from DJ Patil, who was the former chief data scientist under the Obama administration in the United States. He was also a former data scientist, one of the original data scientists at LinkedIn. And he has this quote where he says, "It's impossible to overstress this. 80% of the work in any data project is in cleaning the data." And this is the problem that Trifacta we are exclusively focusing on. It's taking data from source systems, source formats, and doing all the work of refining the data, cleaning it, blending it together, doing different aggregations, different formatting to make sure that the data is fit for use. So whether that's provisioning data for some data catalog or onboarding external data into your own system, whether that is prepping data for ML and AI, or whether that's building a data set for some sort of analytics, 80% of the time and resources is spent refining that data. And this impacts your entire team. So whether you're a data analyst, whether you're a data engineer, whether you're a data scientist, the process of discovering what's in your data, structuring it, cleaning it, enriching it, validating, and then deploying it into your analytics environment takes up the majority of your time. So if you can set up a way for different types of users across your organization to have self-service access to data, to explore, transform, get data ready for these different use cases, and do that in a governed model, that seems to be a way to generate a ton of value for the different data management activities your organization has in place. And if you look at the rise of machine learning and AI, this problem becomes even more difficult. So, as organizations heavily invest in ML and AI, they're finding that data quality is the biggest challenge to getting productive and getting widespread value out of machine learning, as you see from this article from Harvard Business Review. And then secondly, a lot of the algorithms, machine learning and AI algorithms that are being leveraged are fairly commodity. So every organization has access to the same algorithms in TensorFlow and Python and these different frameworks. What the differentiator is the data. And as you see from this MIT Sloan Management Review article, is that the machine learning race is actually a data race, where to win that race, you need to have differentiated data or differentiated combinations of data to fuel these models and outpace your competition. And this challenge around data preparation is felt across all of the major cloud platform providers. So whether it's Amazon, Azure, Google Cloud, or Cloudera, they're recognizing that for machine learning, analytics, and broader data management, data prep is one of the biggest hurdles or biggest challenges to driving adoption, and they've recognized Trifacta as a key technology, a key vendor in helping those initiatives have success on their platforms. So what to do? What do you do to solve this problem? So this is the problem we're exclusively focused on. It's been referred to data preparation, data munging, data refinement. We like to use the term that we believe the end users, data analysts, data scientists use, which is called data wrangling. And our exclusive focus is the refinement of data for these different use case patterns. And if you think about how we do that, one is around an intuitive interface that allows any type of user, whether you're an analyst, a data scientist, or data engineer, to intuitively assess data and transform it for the task at hand. The second is allowing end users to collaborate with IT to provide sort of this end-to-end platform that is governed, that they have control over access, security, and also visibility into data lineage, and are also able to take the work of end users and operationalize that to run at scale on schedules across the organization. And the third piece is making sure that this is done in an enterprise-wide platform that allows organizations to centralize data, centralize metadata, centralize data pipelines instead of having them in Excel spreadsheets or in desktop tools that provide limitations around governance, security, all those different things, is to provide a centrally governed enterprise-wide platform that can support a variety of different use cases and users, and have this blend of self-service empowerment plus centralized governance. And so Trifacta, we've had a lot of success with organizations across both analytics and operational use cases. So we have examples of our different customers and where they land on this spectrum, from everything from business intelligence to predictive modeling to risk and compliance and audit testing and validation. So you see a lot of representation across financial services, insurance, government agencies, pharmaceuticals, healthcare, things of that nature. And as this push to the cloud continues, we've made a really concentrated effort to focus on providing platform support on the major cloud providers. So with every cloud provider, whether it's Google, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Azure, we provide support for native storage, native processing, and native storage and access controls. So if you're deploying a warehouse or a data lake on one of these platforms, you're able to leverage the underlying services and deploy Trifacta on top of that to make sure you're having not only efficient use of those services that's cost effective, but also making sure that it is leveraging those native security layers as well. And we get a lot of questions on how do I think about the role of ETL and data prep in this environment in the cloud. And I think that the simplest way to think about this is Trifacta or data preparation vendors are not as focused on data movement to cloud, so bulk movement of different data from different systems to a centralized cloud environment. I think the use case pattern you're seeing in cloud is leveraging these technologies to extract and load environments into a data lake or a warehouse. And then that data will be transformed in the staging area or in the warehouse or in the lake for different use case patterns. So at Trifacta and in the other data preparation vendors, we're focused on the refinement of data once it lands in that cloud environment, whether it's a data warehouse or a data lake, the refinement of data for those different use cases. And we have up here the different platforms we support, Google, Amazon, Azure, and Snowflake in that model, where ETL is mostly focused in the cloud on data movement versus Trifacta is mostly focused on the refinement or preparation of data for use and the ability to automate that process to then publish to those downstream systems. So we've had a lot of success in the market. This is just a sample of some of the customers that have decided to leverage Trifacta as part of their data lake adoption and accelerating that adoption of the analytics that they're running on top of it. So broad spectrum of companies from FinServ, insurance, pharma, healthcare, government agencies, utilities, and the like. And you'll see some globally represented brands here that we've been very fortunate to have had the opportunity to work with. So why our platform, why Trifacta? It comes down to three main points. One is around empowering self-service, the second around speed, and the third around cloud native. So what I mean about self-service is providing an intuitive visual interface. So if I'm familiar with Excel or familiar with a product like Tableau, you can easily view the data and start building transformations by interacting with the interface, whether it's clicking, dragging, or interacting with the interface in that way. And then every transformation you build in the platform is tagged in a recipe. So recipe is essentially the set of steps that you apply to a particular data set in the platform. So as you're refining your data, building your transformations, we're automatically tracking every different transformation you're applying to the data in the recipe. So this is helping provide governance and also making sure that we're having lineage for every transformation that's applied to the data as part of a pipeline. The second would be speed. So we think of speed in two different ways. One is speed in designing a workflow. So if I have a data set or multiple data sets and I want to design a data pipeline, you're seeing the data as you're refining it, and you're getting instant previews and continuous validation that every transformation step you apply to the data is valid. So as I'm cleaning up different columns, structuring, separating columns out, I'm getting instant previews of every transformation step before I actually apply it in my recipe, and validation that when that step is applied, it's actually accurate. And then through interactions in the platform, we use machine learning to sort of guide users to what transformations they should apply. So maybe standardizing a date, joining with a different data set. We leverage machine learning through usage on the platform to provide a set of suggestions that they can use to accelerate their processes. It's also speed to put these workflows into production. So as you build out a pipeline, and that's being done faster in the design phase, as I talked about earlier, you're also actually able to put those pipelines into production and automate the runtime of those, whether on a schedule or according to some API, and then are also able to collaborate with your IT teams or your data engineers to share those workflows and also have testing and version control managed in those platforms as well. And then, as I mentioned before, cloud native. So you're not, sort of running a desktop server environment in the cloud, leveraging like EC2 or some, virtual box in one of these cloud environments. You're leveraging these native services. So native S3 connection, native Redshift connection, pushing down to or compiling, processing down to EMR or Azure Databricks. So you're leveraging these core native services on these platforms, which is more cost effective, more secure, and also sort of the way software is built today as part of a modern analytics platform. And so, in this space, Trifacta has been recognized as the leaders in the category and one of the, the vendors that founded the market of data preparation. Every industry analyst report that's come out on data preparation has ranked Trifacta the #1 vendor, whether that's Forrester's Wave on self-service data preparation, Gartner's Peer Insights on data prep, or industry analysts like Ovum, Dresner, and Bloor that have ranked Trifacta #1. So I know I have 2 minutes left, so I'm going to talk about how you can get started. So we have a number of different editions. We have a free product on our website. You can go to trifacta.com, sign up for the free Wrangler edition. It's our own cloud environment. You can work with desktop files. There are functional limitations to that in terms of data volume, processing, and some of the feature sets, but it's unlimited free version, and there's community support and forums of that nature. And then we have a pro product that has advanced connectivity, scheduling, collaboration, things of that nature. That's also our own managed cloud offering, and that starts at $5,000 per user. And then we have an enterprise product that can deploy on a customer's managed cloud environment, and it has unlimited volume and scalability, broad connectivity, and we have advanced security, access controls, and things of that nature, and it comes with dedicated support. So, if you want to get started, see what Trifacta is all about, I recommend go to our website, start wrangling today with a free Wrangler edition. You can sign up and get going in a matter of minutes, and tell us what you think. So with that, I will pass it back to you.
Thank you very much, Will. At this point in time, we're going to move on to our final speaker today, DB Malakar, Vice President of Product Management at SnapLogic.
Thanks, Stefan. I'm going to be sharing SnapLogic's views on overcoming data integration and governance challenges. So first, let me just provide a quick overview of what SnapLogic is. SnapLogic was founded by Gaurav Dhillon in 2006. Gaurav was also the co-founder of Informatica. SnapLogic has about 200 plus employees globally with headquarters in San Mateo, California, and 4 other offices around the globe. We have more than 1,300 subscription customers processing somewhere between 1 and 1.3 trillion documents on a monthly basis. We have very satisfied customers with our subscription renewal rate around 95%. So let's talk about our platform. What our customers are really looking for and what we provide is a single unified platform to address a diverse set of use cases, ranging from application integration, data integration, to API management, B2B integration, and data engineering, which includes big data processing and data science. We provide a self-service AI-powered platform that is cloud native to essentially drive 3 things: drive productivity, lower the total cost of ownership, and speed time to value. We are involved in automating all stages of the IT integration projects, whether it be design, development, deployment, or maintenance. And we provide capabilities for all personas, as you'll see in subsequent slides. Right from day one, we provided a hybrid deployment model. You can deploy in the cloud, on premises, and our core philosophy is to balance innovation with enterprise-grade stability. So let's talk a little bit more about our intelligent integration platform. At the highest level, it includes 3 core components: the designer, the dashboard, and the manager. The first component is the designer, where you create integration pipelines by yourself or with the help of the integration assistant, which is powered by AI and ML technologies. The second component is the SnapLogic dashboard, which is a reporting interface that provides information on pipeline runs and SnapLexes, and includes other details such as the health wall, etc. And the third component is the manager that can be used to manage users, groups, project spaces, pipelines, and various aspects of security, and also view account and snap statistics. The SnapLogic Designer, Manager, and the dashboard are HTML5 based and delivered as a multi-tenant cloud-based service. It uses the concept of containerized snaps or integration connectors that allow you to easily connect any combination of SaaS and on-premises applications and data sources. SnapLogic provides snaps for all styles of integration, whether it be batch, real-time, streaming, and for data of all varieties, both structured and unstructured. SnapLogic's intelligent integration platform essentially provides a modern architecture that is hybrid, elastic, and secure. And here is an example of the core components. The control plane itself includes the designer, manager, and the dashboard. It does not store any data, but just metadata. And then you have the data plane or the SnapLex. And SnapLex really is the data processing engine of the platform. The customers can deploy one or many SnapLexes as required to run pipelines or integrations and process data. A SnapLex itself consists of one or more nodes and can be of the following types. The first one is the CloudPlex that runs inside the core platform, and then you have GroundPlexes that are installed on premises or in a customer's public cloud VPC. And then you also have the ExtremePlex that is used in a big data environment to process data at scale, leveraging cloud infrastructure such as AWS EMR. Out of the box, we provide about 500 snaps, and integration specialists, ad hoc integrators, and citizen integrators can leverage these out of the box. We provide native snaps for a variety of enterprise-focused applications, including Salesforce, Workday, ServiceNow, NetSuite, Reltio, Adobe Cloud Platform, etc. Today, the REST Snap Pack has snaps to execute HTTP methods to any REST API service endpoint, and essentially can be leveraged to integrate any application or ecosystem. We support all the major enterprise data sources, including BigQuery, Confluent Kafka, MySQL, Oracle, as well as generic JDBC. In addition to the database type sources, we also provide support for local file systems, S3, Microsoft Blob, Azure Data Lake Store, Google Storage, SMB, etc. And for integration specialists, we also provide a fully documented Java Snap Development Kit or SDK that can be used for building custom snaps and integration patterns, addressing custom endpoints or custom transformations. We also have an API for developers to interact with the platform programmatically when coupled with our script snap, which can be written in JavaScript, Python, or Ruby, essentially empowering our developers with nearly limitless connectivity options. And here is a quick overview of the capabilities that we provide across all persona. Essentially, the more technical integration specialist uses a self-service browser-based UI. He can extend the platform using the script snap. He can leverage capabilities around the creation, the design of APIs, as well as manage the lifecycle of the APIs. He can work with B2B EDI transactions using our SnapLogic B2B offering. And as I mentioned earlier, they can leverage any of the 500 plus snaps out of the catalog and also achieve CI/CD support through GitHub integration. Now moving on to the ad hoc and the citizen integrator, they're able to reuse the artifacts or the pipeline patterns that are built by the integration specialist. And we really are based on a schema on read paradigm, so we're not tightly coupled with the underlying schema. The ad hoc integrator, the less technical person, can also leverage data preparation and data quality snaps as part of our data science offering, or they can build Spark-based pipelines leveraging our SnapLogic Extreme offering for data processing at scale. The citizen integrator and the digital integrator, they are also empowered with productivity improvement techniques that are brought about by investments that we have made in AI/ML technologies, something that we call as the Iris Integration Assistant. And they can also leverage the existing catalog of patterns like if you want to move data from S3 to Snowflake or Salesforce to Marketo, they're all available as recipes or patterns. And they can also leverage our inbuilt data catalog to improve the visibility and the transparency of data. We also have a ROI calculator. It's an executive summary that I'm showing of the business value analysis that was done by a company called Amalgam Insights. The study was conducted in March 2019. And the customers that were assessed by this company were provided by SnapLogic, but we did not really influence or review what the customers shared with them. The key takeaways are follows. For this typical example, the annual ROI was around 631% with a payback period of 1.8 months and a 3-year net present value of about 2.63 million. And at the end of the deck, I'll also give you a link where you can try this out yourself. As you see, we have a representative list of customers that go across various verticals, from software, technology, and IT services companies like Adobe and Workday, to healthcare and pharmaceuticals, Bristol Myers, Humana, Illumina, etc., to financial services and higher education. Now let me talk about one use case in a little more detail. As some of you probably already know, AstraZeneca is one of the largest pharmas in the world discovering, developing, and commercializing prescription drugs. And what really was the issue was in 2015, they started looking for an alternative to build what they call as the eTMF 2.0 application. And they were looking for an iPaaS platform that was powerful and light enough to stay agile to meet technical and the business requirements. Within 3 months, they connected 25 systems into Salesforce and Viva. They built about 200 plus pipelines to build out their application, and they get continuous and real-time updates from various applications. And they were able to consolidate applications by having one-time data batches, which significantly reduces subscription costs. And there are about 400 plus integrators across the AstraZeneca organization and 3,000 plus employees that have access to the data that was enabled by SnapLogic. And in terms of the volume, they have about 2 million pipeline executions that are done on a monthly basis. Now, why SnapLogic? They were looking for a unified integration platform. AstraZeneca had many on-premises, cloud applications, data lakes, and they also used multi-point tools earlier. And their integration landscape was becoming too complex and cluttered, so they were looking for this unified integration platform. The other reason for choosing SnapLogic was self-service. They wanted repeatable use of integration patterns to integrate endpoints and thus democratize the integration process for more than 100 plus non-technical business users worldwide. They were also looking for scalability. The SnapLogic implementation allowed non-technical users to build integrations across Workday, Salesforce, SAP, ServiceNow, and systems like Concur, and many others. And the last one was fast time to market, where the ease of use of the product allowed business users to launch products faster and drive more initiatives. So the big takeaway is essentially through this architectural approach, non-technical users can do their own integrations and achieve higher productivity. And as you see out here, we've been named a leader in all 3 quadrants in the Forrester Wave. They have talked about our core strengths and in the Forrester Wave for iPaaS, and Gartner has also recognized us as a leader for iPaaS, and we have been a leader for 4 consecutive years. We excel in the ability to execute as well as completeness of vision, and also a leader in G2 Crowd, where we are highly rated for our ease of use and the ability to meet a wide range of customer requirements from like data integration, app integration, API management, B2B integration, and data engineering. Now let's talk about a couple of other offerings that I referred to earlier. So first one is SnapLogic Extreme. In terms of what SnapLogic Extreme is, SnapLogic Extreme extends our core intelligent integration platform to provide a transient cloud-based runtime environment for running complex and high-volume data transformation routines, servicing various kinds of big data use cases, and be able to do that at elastic scale with a serverless computing paradigm. Now let's look at the evolution of enterprise data architecture. If you look at the traditional concept like the enterprise data warehouse, that was the centerpiece of the data architecture strategy. I myself have built a bunch of data warehouses in the early 90s, and frankly speaking, that model worked fine as long as the data that was being produced was very structured in nature and the volume of data was totally manageable. It was all about batch workloads. But if you look at what's happening today, the volume, variety, and the velocity of data makes having the enterprise data warehouse the center of your data architecture almost impossible. Now that has been replaced by the data lake, and customers are now planning to leverage big data as a service set of technologies from providers like Amazon, Azure, and Google as the big data runtime environment. Now what SnapLogic does is it provides this offering called SnapLogic Extreme, and it provides a layer of automation to leverage these runtime environments following a serverless computing paradigm. And then you can populate the various environments like Snowflake, Redshift, etc. In terms of key benefits, it's all about higher productivity across developers, big data architects, and administrators. You do not require any special data engineering skills, and you achieve higher productivity because you're using a visual, no-code-based Spark pipeline developed environment with absolutely no requirement to write code in Scala, Java, etc. You also achieve lower total cost of ownership for your data lake implementations because you have a unified elastic scale platform that is fully automated and based on the serverless computing paradigm. Now let's talk briefly about SnapLogic Data Science. SnapLogic Data Science is a new self-service solution to accelerate the development and the deployment of data engineering and machine learning projects with minimal coding. Again, same concept, the visual paradigm to accelerate development. We have a number of capabilities across the 4 stages of the machine learning lifecycle, from data collection, data acquisition, and data preparation, which is making sense of the data, and then you have machine learning model training and validation, as well as model deployment. And today we provide capabilities across both the areas, whether it's data collection and preparation, as well as building and deploying the machine learning models. The set of capabilities in the first bucket focus on the data engineer accessing and assembling the data for use by machine learning models, and then the data engineers will go ahead and build the machine learning models and deploy them. The key benefits again include lowering of their total cost of ownership and focus on higher productivity because it doesn't require any special data engineering or data scientist skills. The last offering focuses on API management, which is a scalable solution to connect organizations, partners, and customers to provide rapid and seamless API connectivity. It focuses on our API creation and design and core capabilities like API protection, managing the performance of the APIs like throughput, latency, etc. And we are also working on a developer portal for our end customers. Key benefits around lower total cost of ownership, driving faster time to value with seamless connectivity, and increased productivity as you're able to create and manage the APIs in the same UI and be able to reuse that across many projects. From a data governance standpoint, we recognize that as a key capability. We provide basic profiling and data cataloging capabilities today with data lineage support planned for calendar year 2019. We're also exploring partnership with key best of breed data governance vendors like Atlassian, Collibra, etc. And we want to focus on all the 3 areas of data governance, which includes cataloging, data quality, data profiling, as well as data lineage and impact analysis. So to summarize, we provide a single unified platform that addresses a diverse set of use cases across the 5 pillars that you see out here: application integration, data integration, API management, B2B integration, and data engineering. And for more details, like if you want to calculate your company's ROI, or you want to look at the iPaaS buying guide or sign up for a free trial, the links are all shared below. So with that, just ending the formal presentation, and back to you, Stefan.
Thank you very much, Debbie. At this point in time, we're going to move on to questions from our viewers today. The first question is for Pradeep. Pradeep, what is the difference between ETL and ELT?
That's a really common question. Over the years, when ETL started, people did a lot of the data manipulation and transformation outside the database. Just for clarity, ETL stands for extraction, transformation, and loading. And a lot of the integration tools are really good at doing that transformation outside the database. We even have a product, Data Flow, which will analyze the data and to recommend the best way of handling it outside the database before you do your load. But it's getting more and more common for people to do a lot of the transformation work inside a database, and that's what ELT is all about. So you extract and load and then do the transformation of data inside a database. That way you can use SQL to manipulate the data. And if you have the ability to do distributed data access, you can actually move data from one database to another using ELT. Hopefully that answers your question.
Understood. Thanks, Pradeep. Will, our next question is for you. How do data preparation solutions differ from traditional ETL or data integration technologies?
Sure. So I think the easiest way to define this is in terms of who the intended end user is. I think a lot of times you had ETL technologies, and today the people that leverage those technologies live in systems. So they think about the different database environments, the different data pipelines to move data across those systems. They're probably not as focused on the actual data and the content of the data and how that data is being manipulated for different type of business use cases. And so that's where data prep comes in, where you're able to see the data, refine it, bring it together with other data sources, and then publish that for use and do that in a repeatable, automated fashion. So that's sort of the way we view the world differently, as ETL generally used by individuals that are more likely to be in IT, that live in systems, and are generally focused on moving data, versus data prep, or people that are more focused on the data and the business context and use of that data, and will be living in those environments to prep data for specific uses.
Understood. Thanks, Will. Dibby, our next question is for you. Can SnapLogic be used for multiple use cases?
Of course, SnapLogic, intelligent integration platform, provides support for a diverse set of use cases ranging from application integration, data integration, API management, B2B integration, and data engineering. And all of these use cases are met by the set of 3 core components that I talked about earlier in the presentation, which is the SnapLogic Designer, Manager, and the dashboard instead of siloed UIs. So yes, we absolutely provide support for multiple use cases.
Thanks, Debbie. Pradeep, our next question is for you. Can I use Avalanche for online transaction processing?
It's not the core product we recommend for online transaction processing. We actually have a thing called Actian X, which is a row-based relational database, which is ideally suited for data entry as well as collating data before you do analytics, using the analytics engine in there. But having said that, Avalanche is excellent at handling updates, so you can use it for OLTP and for data analytics to a great extent.
Got it. Thanks for clarifying, Pradeep. Will, our next question is for you. Who are the intended end users of data preparation technologies? Data analysts, data engineers, data scientists?
Yeah. So I'd say the primary user we've seen to date has been a data analyst, so someone who is familiar with Excel, Tableau, that knows the data, but also has some skills around how to work with that data. And we're also seeing more and more that there's this connection between and a data analyst and a data engineer. So the analysts will be the ones that are developing workflows and transformation recipes that once they are shown to provide value, then passing that over to a data engineer to operationalize that and set that on a schedule so the broader organization can utilize that data. And then I think we also see more and more data scientists leveraging data preparation technologies because of the ability to have central governance, collaboration, and to be able to automate a lot of the traditionally manual task of writing code to manipulate data. So that's been so there's use cases for all of those different types of users, and they're different ways that they interact with the platform and have value driven out of the platform.
Understood. Thanks, Will. Dibby, we're moving back to you. Question is, does SnapLogic embed AI and machine learning into their platform?
Thanks. SnapLogic blends AI and integration into a single unified platform to propel modern enterprises into the age of automation. Now, let me share our strong belief here. We believe that enterprise automation actually begins with AI-enabled integration. Before end-to-end processes can be automated, a complex web of applications, APIs, data sources, and other systems must be connected via a modern integration platform. And the platform we are talking about must employ AI and machine learning techniques and intelligent workflows to achieve the productivity and the time to value gains that automation demands. In fact, I'm proud to share that Gartner recently recognized SnapLogic for its leadership in this critical area and called us the first mover with a focus on AI-enabled integration. And SnapLogic is significantly enhancing its capabilities by embedding machine learning for automatic guidance, which essentially helps ad hoc and citizen integrators accelerate the development of integration flows and simplify the overall delivery.
Thanks, Debbie. Pradeep, question is, what is a good way to perform change data capture-based replication?
So there's a lot of tools out there that do CDC effectively. The one we come across the most is HVR. They're used by several of our customers, including the AA in England. They basically provide the capability to do high-volume replication based on log data capture, and it's pretty effective, and they've been a great partner for us.
Got it. Thanks, Pradeep. Will, next question is for you. Can other platforms be added or enhanced, like Cloudera, Google Cloud, AWS, Microsoft?
I guess I don't understand that question. Can other platforms be added or enhanced? I guess we provide native integration to all of those platforms. So if you have an environment that's based on one of them, we're happy to. We have native integration to all of them, and we also have the ability to seamlessly interoperate across platforms. So all of the logic you create in Trifacta in terms of transforming data can be seamlessly ported over to another platform. So there's no tie to the platform in terms of the business logic you're generating and transforming the data. That's in our own sort of language, and then that can compile down to the processing engine on Cloudera, which would be Spark, or on Google, which would be Cloud Data Flow, and that can be seamlessly transferable across platforms, which I think may be the question that was being asked.
Understood. Thanks, Will. Dibby, our next question is for you. Can you please summarize again the key benefits of the SnapLogic platform?
Sure, I'll keep it short. The key benefit is automation at scale, and to achieve automation at scale and realize the many subsequent benefits, including increased speed and agility, better productivity and insights, improved operational efficiency, faster transformation, and more, businesses are establishing AI-enabled integration platforms as the foundation of their enterprise automation strategy. So automation at scale, I would summarize as sort of the key benefit.
Understood. We're at the top of the hour, so I'm just going to give each of you a few seconds to just summarize what you'd like our viewers today that are battling their own data integration and governance challenges to walk away keeping in mind. And why don't we start with you, Pradeep?
Sure. I think the things that I'd like people to take away with them is to, consider the flexibility of having a data management or analytics platform that can span IoT use cases all the way through multi-cloud and on-premise as well. So that's really what Actian's all about.
Understood. Thanks, Pradeep. And Will, your final remarks.
Yeah, I mean, as you're transitioning to the cloud and the timelines accelerate, there's a lot more noise in sort of how much data is implemented there. This challenge around data wrangling becomes even more acute and pervasive. And so, to drive the success of your data lake or data warehouse, you have to have a data preparation platform that manages both self-service and governance. And so we think we're the best platform for that and have shown success through the customers that we've worked with.
Understood. And Dibby, your final remarks.
Sure. So if you're looking for a easy-to-use self-service a unified platform to address a diverse set of use cases, ranging from application integration, data integration, API management, B2B integration, or data engineering, and you're looking to achieve automation at scale benefits to drive speed and agility, improved productivity, and lower your total cost of ownership, then SnapLogic's intelligent integration platform is the way to go.
Once again, I'd like to thank our speakers today, Pradeep Banat, Director of Product Marketing at Actian, Will Davis, Senior Director of Product Marketing at Trifacta, and Dibby Malakar, Vice President of Product Management at SnapLogic. If you would like to review this presentation or send it to a colleague, please use the same URL that you used for today's live event. It will be archived, and you'll receive an email tomorrow once the archive is posted. And again, just for participating in today's event, you could win this $100 American Express gift card. The winner will be announced on June 28th. We will reach out to you by email to notify you if you are the lucky viewer. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes today's webcast. We appreciate your participation. You may now disconnect. Presenters, please stand by.